ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యారంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి, జేఈఈ అయినా, నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్.
Next situations are, let us listen some points here. Here the body projected vertically upwards reaches to the maximum height after certain time. Reaches to the maximum height after certain time. So now here the situation is, this is the last second of upward motion. Last second of upward motion it is. Last second of upward motion. If it is the last second of upward motion, then this is the first second of downward motion. Last second. For example, if the time of ascent is 6 seconds, time of ascent is 6 seconds. Last second of upward motion means 6th second. Last second of upward motion means 6th second. So this is the 6th second and this is the downward motion first second. For example, if the body projected upwards, the body does not remain in air. The body does not remain in air. Definitely the body moves downwards. It reaches to certain height and again the body reaches to down, definitely. So during upward motion last second, during upward motion last second, during downward motion first second. So this is the upward motion last second, downward motion first second. Upward motion last second, downward motion first second. Now here the condition is, listen, condition is distance travelled by the body in the last second of upward motion must be equal to distance travelled by the body in the first second of downward motion. This is must. So when this condition happens, in absence of air resistance, every application in this chapter we are describing without considering the air resistance. If you consider the air resistance, that scenario must be different. There we can calculate the net force like that. Still we didn't enter into the concept of force. That's why just we are considering the situations in absence of air resistance. See here. Now here the condition is distance travelled by the body in the last second of upward motion must be equal to the distance travelled by the body in the first second of downward motion. Distance travelled by the body in the last second of upward motion must be equal to distance travelled by the body in the first second of downward motion. These two must be equal. These two must be equal. Last second of upward motion, first second of downward motion. If the body projected upwards, we don't know what is the exact value of projection. We don't know the time of ascent, but what is the distance travelled by the body in the last second of upward motion means, distance travelled by the body in the last second of upward motion means, how can we calculate distance travelled by the body in the first second of downward motion? So what is the distance in the first second of downward motion? In the first second of downward motion, what is the distance travelled in the first second of downward motion? Downward motion means it acts as a freely falling body. Downward motion means it acts as a freely falling body. That's why initial velocity 0 and acceleration is plus g and time is given as 1. First second distance s is equals to ut plus half a t square, s is equals to 0 into t plus half a is g into 1 square. So s is equals to half g or s is equals to g by 2, 9.8 by 2 that is 4.9 or 10 by 2 that is 5 meters, either 4.9 or 5 meters, either 4.9 or 5 meters. So that is the distance travelled by the body in the first second of downward motion. Distance travelled by the body in the first second of downward motion. This is the concept. So distance travelled by the body in the last second of upward motion. What is the distance travelled in the last second of upward motion? Nothing but first second of downward motion. Nothing but first second of downward motion. How much the first second of downward motion? 4.9 or 5 meters. Now tell me, what is the distance travelled by the body in the distance travelled by the body in the last second of upward motion? 5 meters or 4.9 meters. Whatever is the velocity of projection, if the body projected with 10 meters per second or 20 meters per second or 30 meters per second or 50 meters per second or 1000 meters per second, whatever it is, whatever is the velocity of projection, the distance travelled by the body in the last second of upward motion must be equal to first second of downward motion. So last second of upward motion does not depends on speed of projection, does not depends on velocity of projection, So that value is 4.9 or 5 meters, 4.9 or 5 meters, that is the thing. So distance travelled in the last second of upward motion, does not depends on velocity of projection, that is a question, that is a point. So whatever it may be the speed of projection, distance travelled in the last second of upward motion must be equal to either 4.9 meters or 5 meters, does not depends on velocity of projection. So this is one point you have to remember. Next, the same situation, here now the question is, body projected upwards reaches to the certain height after it reaches to the certain height after certain time. Here in this situation, now one more concept is so distance travelled by the vertically projected body in the first second of upward motion, distance travelled by the vertically projected body in the first second of upward motion is equal to first second of upward motion is equal to last second of downward motion. Last second of downward motion. This is the condition. This is the one more concept. It is distance travelled by the vertically projected body in the first second of upward motion is equal to the distance travelled by the body in the last second of downward motion. This is the first second of upward motion and this is the last second of downward motion. These two are also equal. So, last second of upward motion must be equal to first second of downward motion. In the same way, distance travelled by the body in the first second of upward motion is equal to last second of downward motion. Distance travelled by the body in the first second of upward motion must be equal to last second of downward motion. Last second of downward motion. That is also. So, here it is velocity u and it is last second. We do not know that. Body must be projected with velocity u. Whatever is the distance travelled in the first second of upward motion, that must be equal to the last second of downward motion. That must be equal to the last second of downward motion. So, here first second of upward motion. First second of upward motion. How can we calculate the first second of upward motion? So, body projected with initial velocity is u, acceleration is minus g, time is given as 1 second, first second, and distance we have to calculate. So, from equation Sn is equals to u plus a into n minus half. Sn is equals to u plus a into n minus half. S1 is equals to u minus g into n is 1 minus 1 by 2. So, that is u minus g by 2. So, distance travelled by the body in the first second of upward motion is equals to u minus g by 2. In the same way, the last second of downward motion is also u minus g by 2. This distance must depends on velocity of projection. This distance must depends on velocity of projection. So, first second of upward motion must be equal to last second of downward motion. That is very important. Now, this value must depends on velocity. This value must depends on velocity of projection. Without knowing a velocity of projection, it is not possible to calculate. Distance. Not possible to calculate the distance or time, whatever it is. So, it is. Here it is the distance travelled in the first second of upward motion. Now, distance travelled in last second of downward motion. So, distance travelled in the last second of downward motion, here it is. So, last second of downward motion means it is acts as a free lever. So, it is the last second of downward motion. This is the last second of downward motion. Here the body is moving downwards. During the body is moving downwards, initial velocity is equals to 0, acceleration is equals to plus g, and distance we have to calculate, and the last second, we do not know, let us say last second, that is equals to n. Sn is equals to u plus a into n minus half. Sn is equals to last second, we do not know that second, 0 plus g into n minus half. Sn is equals to g into n minus half, where n is time of descent. This is the condition. This is the distance travelled in the first second of upward motion. This is the distance travelled in the last second of downward motion. both must be equal. Therefore, S1 is equals to Sn. S1 is equals to Sn. That is the given condition. So, this condition is also possible in case of, in absence of air resistance. This condition is also possible in absence of air resistance, remember that. So, distance travelled in the first second of upward motion, distance travelled in the last second of downward motion. Last second of downward motion means during downward motion the body acts as a freely falling body, that is why initial velocity is 0, acceleration is plus g, distance we have to calculate, that is why Sn is equals to u plus a into n minus half. Sn is equals to g plus g into n minus half, 0 plus g into n minus half. N is time of descent. So, that is why give a, from this definition, S1 is equals to Sn. S1 is u minus g by 2 is equals to g into n minus half. U minus g by 2 is equals to g into n minus half. This is the situation. Now, this is the topic. Then based on this we calculate u by g, u gn minus g by 2. G by 2 cancel, u is equals to gn, n is equals to u by g. What is n we are considering? Time of descent. So, time of descent formula it is u by g, that is the condition. Now, so next based on this we can do an example. If the distance travelled by the body in the first second of upward motion is equal to distance travelled by the body in the first second of upward motion is equal to, let us say, 55 meters. 55 meters. The distance travelled by the body in the first second of upward motion is equal to 55 meters. The question is, find the time of flight. That is the question. We don't know anything. Just the distance travelled by the body in the first second of upward motion is 55 meters. First second only 55. How can you calculate total time of flight? That's we have to calculate. See here. Solution. Body projected upwards with certain speed u. The body reaches to maximum height and again moving downwards and finally reaches to the ground. Just now we derived the condition. Distance travelled by the body in the first second of upward motion. Distance travelled by the body in the first second of upward motion must be equal to distance travelled by the body in the last second of downward motion. Distance travelled by the body in the first second of upward motion must be equal to distance travelled by the body in the last second of downward motion. That's we calculated now. That is S1 is equals to Sn. S1 is given as 55. Sn is equals to G into n minus half. Just previous concept only. S1 is given as 55 and Sn is G into n minus half. We know that. So 55 is equals to 10 into n minus half. So distance travelled by the body in the first second of upward motion is equals to distance travelled by the body in the last second of downward motion. g into n minus half. First second of upward motion is given as 55 meters. So that is 50 by 5 by 10, that is equals to n minus half. 5.5 is equals to n minus 1 by 2 is nothing but 0.5. So 0.5 coming, n is equals to 5.5 plus 0.5, n is equals to 6. What is n here? Where n is time of descent, that is equals to 6 seconds. We discussed already. What is the value of n is here? What is the value? What is meaning by n here? Time of descent. N is the time of descent, that is given as 6 seconds. We obtained now. What we have to calculate? Time of flight. Time of flight is equals to time of ascent plus time of descent. What we got? Time of descent is 6 seconds. Time of descent is 6 seconds, and we know time of ascent must be equal to time of descent. If the time of descent is 6 seconds, time of ascent also 6 seconds, that is equals to 6 plus 6, 12 seconds. So time of flight is 12 seconds. Time of flight is 12 seconds. This is the situation. This can also be done in another way. Same problem we'll do in another way. See here, another way. What is a given condition? Distance travelled by the body in the first second of upward motion. S1 is equals to 55. What is S1? U minus g by 2 is equals to 55. We know what is the distance travelled by the body in the first second of upward motion? U minus g by 2. So u is equals to 55 plus g by 2, that is equals to 55 plus g is 10 by 2. So that is 55 plus 5. So that is equals to 60 meters per second. Velocity of projection is equals to 60 meters per second. That is we can get. So time of flight formula is 2u by g. U is 60, g is 10, 12 seconds. That is also one model. Whatever is the thought you can get, you can do in different ways. Same problem having different solutions, the same like this. This is one way. If you remember this concept, if the distance travelled by the body in the first second of upward motion equals to distance travelled by the body in the last second of downward motion, then we can follow this. Otherwise, this is also one solution. Distance travelled by the body in the first second of upward motion is equals to given as 55 meters. So that is u minus g by 2 is equals to 55. U is equals to 55 plus g by 2. G is 10, that is 10 by 2. 55 plus 5, that is 60 meters per second. Time of flight is 2u by g. 2 into 60 by 10, 12 seconds. So that is, so this is the solution. So next, for example, if the body projected upwards, with speed 80 meters per second. Body projected upwards with speed 80 meters per second. Find the distance travelled by the body distance traveled by the body in the distance traveled by the body in the last second of upward motion, last second of upward motion and last second of upward motion and last second of downward motion. That is the question. If the body is projected upwards with speed 80 meters per second, find the distance traveled by the body in the last second of upward motion. That's we have to calculate. How can we calculate this? Here the condition is body projected upwards with velocity 80 meters per second. It reaches to the maximum height after a certain time, that is time of ascent. Reaches to the maximum height and again reaches to the ground. Reaches to the maximum height and again reaches to the ground. Then what we have to calculate here? Distance traveled by the body in the last second of upward motion and last second of downward motion. Here body projected with 80 meters per second and the condition is, what is the distance traveled in the last second of upward motion? Distance traveled in the last second of upward motion. Condition is, we know distance traveled in last second of upward motion is equal to distance traveled in first second of downward motion. First second of downward motion. So we know already first second of downward motion is 5 meters or 4.9. If g is considered as 10, the distance is 5, or if g is considered as 9.8, the distance is 4.9. This is the condition. Distance travelled in the last second of upward motion must be equal to distance travelled in the first second of downward motion. So last second of upward motion must be equal to first second of downward motion. The first second of downward motion distance is 5 meters. No doubt about that. Now, next condition is last second of downward motion. Last second of downward motion is nothing but first second of upward motion. Distance travelled in last second of downward motion is equal to distance travelled in first second of upward motion. First second of upward motion. How can we calculate the distance travelled in the first second of upward motion? S1 is equals to u plus a into n minus half. U is given as 80, velocity of projection. Acceleration is minus g because the body is projected upwards with velocity 80. Now the body moving upwards, that's why a is minus g. N is 1 first second, that's why n is 1. 80 minus g is 10, 1 minus 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 80 minus 5, that is 75 meters. 75 meters. So distance travelled by the body in the last second of downward motion is 75 meters, because last second of downward motion must be equal to first second of upward motion. That's the thing. Next application here, mixing freely falling body and vertically projected body, both are mixed concepts. Both the conditions we have to consider here, freely falling body as well as vertically projected body. Let us see here. For example, one body is freely falling here, one body is freely falling. In the same straight line, another body is projected vertically upwards at the same instant. One body is freely falling, at the same time another body is projected. Both must happen at the same time, like that. So that is like one body is projecting, another body is dropping. Both must happen at the same time, same instant. So now, this body is dropped from height h. The body is dropped from height h. Another body is projected with velocity u here. Another body is projected with velocity u. Both must be in the same line. Both must be in the same line. That is the condition. After what interval of time? These two bodies will collide. At what distance these two bodies will meet? That is the question. See here, this is one body dropping, this is body projecting. Both must happen like this. Collision doesn't happen. See here. So again, once we can, so see here, same straight line, that's fine. Collision happens. So after what interval of time they collide? After what interval of time these two bodies can collide? At what height these two bodies will collide? One body is projected from ground, another body is dropping from certain height. One is from ground, another is height. The one is moving upwards, one is moving downwards. After what time interval these two bodies will meet? That is one condition. At what height these two bodies will meet? What is the time interval of meeting? What is the distance of meeting? That's we have to calculate. See here. Because both are these two situations happening at the same instant. At the time of projecting, the body must be dropped. Both must be happening at the same time. At the time of projection, the body also must be dropped. Now, see here, for this freely falling body, initial velocity must be 0. For that freely falling body, initial velocity must be 0. Let us say these two bodies will meet at this position. These two bodies will meet at this position. This is the point of meeting. This is the point of meeting. Let us say the freely falling body travels the distance x. The freely falling body travels the distance x and vertically projected body travels the distance h minus x, because the total distance is h. Here the total distance is h. If the freely falling body travels the distance x and vertically projected body travels the distance h minus x, that is the concept. So first the question is, Question is, if a body is dropped from certain height at the same time another body is projected upwards, with certain speed. Another body is projected upwards with certain speed. After what interval of time these two bodies will meet? That is the question. So see here, so freely falling body travels the distance x and vertically projected body travels the distance h minus x. So solution, first if we consider for freely falling body, what are the conditions of the freely falling body? For the freely falling body, initial velocity 0, acceleration is equals to plus g, distance travelled is, let us say, x. Let us say these two bodies will meet at this position. These two bodies are meeting at this position. Let us say initial velocity is 0 for the freely falling body, acceleration is plus g, distance is x. From equation s is equals to ut plus half at square, x is equals to 0 into t plus half gt square. So x is equals to half gt square. There is the first equation, x equals to half gt square. Next, for vertically projected body, initial velocity is equals to u, acceleration is minus g, distance is h minus x. Vertically projected body, initial velocity is u, acceleration is minus g, because the body is moving upwards, the distance is h minus x. So from equation s is equals to ut plus half at square, again h minus x is equals to u into t minus half gt square, because acceleration is minus g, that is h minus x equals to ut minus half gt square. Let us say it is equation 1. So equation 2. Here in these two situations, t is same. Whatever is the time it travels, this body also travels the same time. These two bodies will meet at this position. That means it travels from this position to this position, and this one travels from here to here in the same time. Here t and t must be same. Now from 1 and 2, so h minus x can be written as ut minus x. In place of half gt square, we can substitute x. Minus x cancel, h is equals to ut. So from this t is equals to h by u. After what interval of time these two bodies will meet? The t is equals to h by u. T is equals to h by u. So total height divided by velocity of projection. Height from which this body is dropped divided by velocity of projection, that gives the time after which these two bodies will meet. So t is equals to h by u. If we substitute the value of t in this equation, now the distance travelled by the freely falling body. If we substitute in this equation distance travelled by the vertically projected body, that is, or if we do this, x is equals to half gt square. half g into t is h by u whole square. So g h square by 2u square. This is the distance travelled by the freely falling body before meeting. Distance travelled by the freely falling body before meeting. And vertically projected body travels h minus x, h minus gh square by 2u square. That's all. That's we can calculate based on this. This is the concept. One body is projected upwards, another body is freely falling. After what interval of time these two bodies will meet? So the t is equals to h by u. So this is the concept. This is the condition of the freely falling body and this is the condition of the vertically projected body. So these two will meet after this time. If we substitute this time in this, we can get distance travelled by the freely falling body and distance travelled by the vertically projected body is h minus gh square by 2u square. This one. One example problem. If a body dropped from a height of 300 meters, another body is projected with velocity 100 meters per second. If a body dropped from a height of 300 meters, another body is projected with a velocity of 100 meters per second. At what time these two bodies will meet? The time interval so that the two bodies will meet. So just now we calculate t is equals to h by u. Just now we calculate total height of the body dropped divided by velocity of projection. T is equals to 300 by 100, that is equals to 3 seconds. T is equals to 3 seconds. At what height from the ground these two bodies will meet? At what height from the ground? Height from ground, two bodies will meet. So for a vertically projected body, let us say these two bodies will meet at this position and this is h minus x and this is x. So height from ground, that means what is the distance travelled by the vertically projected body we can calculate. Distance travelled by the vertically projected body. Or if we calculate x, we know x is equals to half gt square. Half g is 10, t square is 3 square. 10 into 9, so 45 meters. Distance travelled by the freely falling body is 45 meters in this time. Then vertically projected h minus x is equals to 300 minus 45, so 255 meters. At what height from the ground two bodies will meet is 255 meters. Because this one travels the distance of 45 meters, then remaining distance is 255 meters. Where the two bodies will meet means from a height of 255 meters from the ground or at a distance of 45 meters from the top. At a distance of 45 meters from the top. This is the question. Example problem. This is the example problem based on the previous condition.